that's basically where he makes the edibles. And someone, I don't know who it is, but someone came in and like snuck up behind him and knocked him out. And he woke up and he was like drugged, and he got like robbed and stuff of like all of his belongings that were on him, and it was just like a really bad experience. So I think if anything, it'd be just how the edibles kind of drive all these problems for him.
All right, so the next question is, are there any prominent words in the piece that could have different or hiding meaning? Could there be a subconscious reason for the author using these problem words?
For me, I couldn't find any like words that were used constantly and had hidden meanings, but there's a lot of like harsh words, like curse words, that the author uses for dialogue for the characters, and there's a lot of abrasive cuss words and crude language throughout the book, and I think it's just to show the harsh reality of the people living on the streets of Montreal. So I think that's the only thing I could find and answer the question. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to find answers too. So basically, the way I answered it is I took like one scene kind of from the story and like basically, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna say it. So like months after, or like years after the rape situation happened, they moved away from the village, and so they moved to America now. And Amir, he's graduating from high school, and so like him and his father are like immigrants, and so like, you know, they had to like work a lot to get money to like get him into school and stuff. And so when he was graduating, his father was really proud of him, and he was like saving money towards his son's post-secondary tuition. But as he was like graduating, he wanted to tell his father that he wanted to take a year off to help out and save money. But before he was going to say that to his father kind of like, in like quotes, shot him with one of his like smoldering looks, and like he couldn't really say it anymore, so he just kind of had to go to post-secondary to, I guess, like make his father proud. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer, but yeah,
It's good enough.
Yeah.
For me, I couldn't find any specific word that was just concentrated, had different meaning. But I don't know. I would go for the Hazara. That was the tribe where Hassan and his father belonged to, and every time they would be treated as piece of shit. Like I would say that way, they were treated very in a bad way by their community because they were in that kind of tribe called the Hazaras, and people seem to be alright with that. Like, but when Hassan got raped, they say that there is no wrong in showing some respect to a Hazara. So I don't know. Maybe they were undermining their society, and everything that was done to them, either wrong or good, like they had no consequences because people believed in that. Like they believed they were undermined. So, like they were not on the same level as other people, so they mistreated them. So I think that, I don't know. That's the only word I could find. I don't know.
I see what you mean. I think for all of us, it was hard because it's almost like actions speak more volumes.
Yeah.
Because like from what you guys are saying, it's a lot of more of like their actions were more prominent than the words.
Yeah, than the words. I guess you could have taken actions from it, but like, I guess like, yeah, in hindsight you could have taken actions, or like, yeah, it's clear that you could have taken like specific parts of the book, but like, I guess if you're taking action words, like most of our books, yeah, as you said, are very like actions instead of words almost, but yeah, that's fine. Here you go. I'm talking about hanging again for the third time. But yeah, no. But for the hanging, it is like the only double meaning I actually found. It's very hard, but like it basically, again, like the hanging of it's obviously someone dying, but like the underlying meaning for, again, Darrow is basically like him like basically seeing as this is like the start of where he realized he needs to actually take a stand for everything, because at that point he's like not realized that the criminal system, well, not the criminal system, but like the system that he lives in is very flawed. But after and he gets reborn, he does kind of like think about and reflect on how he died was very unfair, and basically from that he's like, okay, I need to fix something because if I don't do it, no one else is going to. So that'd be my answer. The hanging like is the obviously the death and also the beginning of like his whole consideration basically.
Alright. For me, I actually found like it's one of the bigger words in the book, trickster, and so like obviously like at first it just sounds like someone who plays tricks and he's like kind of secretive and stuff. But I did some research and it was actually turns out like a trickster in like native like Indian
Aboriginal?
tribes and stuff like that. They're mythical creatures that are like mischievous supernatural beings, and like they take form of animals such as the coyote, spider, ram, hare, and raven. So now it kind of connects to how the grandma was calling him a trickster, and I think later in the story, I haven't gotten there yet, but I did some like reading. Apparently, he finds out something that he actually is like a trickster, like in native terms and stuff. So that would be it.
Is it saying that like he has the attributes of all those animals, or is it saying that like he acts like them?
Well, okay, because like I don't know exactly what a like trickster means, like to the grandma yet, but I think at least he like finds out that there's like he has some sort of like supernatural like connection or power later in the book.
That's kind of cool. I like how you searched the actual meaning of the word and like dive deeper into like the native culture and what the meaning would actually be. I think that's actually interesting.
Yeah, it like because I did a little bit of extra reading like online to see what it kind of means in the book, so that's kind of how I figured everything out.
Cool. Alright, so the next question is, which does your character use the most? Does he use his id the most, his ego the most, or the superego the most?
For Baby, I think she uses her id the most. She follows her horrible friend Theo around, even if he's bad for her. She buys drugs to try to escape reality, but ends up not liking them. If she could just find other ways to solve her life's misery, I think she would need to use her ego and superego.
I would say my character uses his ego the most because in a way, like, his id and superego, like, counteracts each other in a way that makes him, like, kind of, like, be, like, a bystander or, like, a witness almost. But, yeah.
So his reality is, like, him, like, it's, like almost, like the meaning with it, almost, instead of, like, if you use
Like,
the other two, he just doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I think my main character in my book uses the id more often than the ego and the superego. Like most of the times, he does things that only benefits him, not everybody else. Like, yeah, he's always self-centered and he wants everything to go his way. Like, yeah, I think he uses his id more than anything else.
For Dara, I think he uses his ego the most because he's a very realist person. He doesn't really he doesn't sugarcoat anything. Like at the part where he was about to get hanged, he in the prison, like when him and EO was split up, he kind of knew that either one of them was gonna die or both of them was gonna die. He didn't have false hope basically, so he kind of just looked at the whole reality of the entire situation and kind of just accepted it at that point that either something bad's gonna happen or his own life was gonna end basically.
For Jared, I'd say he definitely uses the id, primarily because everything he does is kind of just what he wants out of the situation. Like when he got knocked out by the pan and he was at the other house, he just wanted to get out of there as soon as he can when he woke up. And also when David, the guy that he hates, went into his house to because he was intoxicated. and he tried to stay the night. Jared was just trying to get him out. Like, he was, like, swearing at him, literally pushing him out of the door. And, like, obviously it didn't work out, so he was, like, the next day they got into a fight, and I'd say that's mostly because of his id.
Nice. Alright.
I didn't know if that was the end of your answer. I thought your mic cut out. Okay.
Yeah, all of us are like hesitantly trying to add stuff.
Okay.
And, like,
So, the next question is, what are 2 examples of the id, ego, and superego in your book, and what is the actual example, and then go into, like, the rest of, like, what you said.
Alright, so I had 2 examples of baby's id. So her first id was taking the drugs to escape reality, and then ego, telling someone how you feel and finding a better way to solve your issues. And her superego would have been knows that drug addiction is not good for your health because she saw that in her father. And then the second one is her id is hugging Theo's mom because she was offered, or Theo's mom offered to hug her, and baby doesn't want to be rude. Her ego is it's okay to receive hugs from someone who seems nice, and superego is don't get too attached to people. I was kind of confused. I don't know about you guys, but like I kind of struggled with identifying id, ego, and superego. But that's what I did. That was the best I could do.
I mean, he did say have the section around that, and then his questions were literally nothing about that, but it's okay.
Yeah, we're casually. Never mind. We're not shading Mr. Barrington. You're great, Mr. Barrington.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay,
Give me an A in
anyways,
your
Claire,
class.
yeah, Claire, go before we start saying things you're gonna regret.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the rape situation. So Amir's id was that he should stick up for Hassan, his best friend, after all that he has done for him, because the 3 guys that raped Hassan, they were bullying Amir and him, and in that situation, Hassan stuck up for Amir, and so Amir felt that he should, like, return the favor. His super ego was that it was dangerous and he could get himself in trouble too, and in trouble being like he could get himself raped too. And his ego was that he hid behind something because he was scared, and so but he still witnessed his best friend getting raped, and yeah.
On a side note, that's kind of interesting how they're bullying him, but then they want to rape him.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
how
I don't really know
that logic
how
works,
yeah.
but
I think they wanted to break him or something.
yeah.
I guess to like mess with his